Welcome to that Indie Talk podcast.
Thank you.
If you saw my blog post from earlier on, the first interview is up on the YouTube because I'm trying new
Yep.
things. It's lockdown.
Yep.
We must disrupt the
For that.
system and innovate what we do and change it. So
Of
yeah,
course.
welcome. Feel free. This is like a laid back conversation. Just
Of course.
express your feelings. Yeah. To start off. Could you please introduce yourself? I know you're very specific. It's Teboho, not Teboho.
Some of
With
my
an
primary
H.
school friends still call me Teboho. Some of my mom's friends call me Lebo. So
Where does level come from?
my mother calls me Tebo. So they're like, oh yeah, what's her name again? Lebo. Lebo. It's like, no, get Teboho. Oh, okay. So yes, my name is Teboho Selatile, known as Teboho with an H on Instagram. This is actually my second account. My first one got blocked by Instagram a couple of
Why?
years ago because I uploaded a clip via Isaac Makwala when he was at the Diamond League Athletics or something. And back then,
Mm,
people still used to post things from Supersport, and apparently I didn't credit it properly. And then someone complained, so yeah, they soft locked my account for several weeks, and then after about 8 weeks, I gave up. I was like, you know what, I'm starting a new account, and yeah, let me pick a name. Teboho with an H, and that's what stuck. So yes, I like to be
agree.
very fussy about my name. Even at the office, I'm like, no guys, it's not Teboho, it's not T-Bone, it's not T-Bird, get Teboho, and that's it. That's my name.
You must say it right.
Yeah. So,
I'm also very pedantic with mine. Like it's Atlechang. And you must get the
hey,
G right. And there's no
hey,
short name. It's just Atlechang. Fela. If you do know how to pronounce my name, though, you can say Atli. But only
yeah,
if you know how to say Atlechang.
hey, that's correct. I agree.
And Teboho with an H. Used to run, now bodybuilds.
Yep, yep. I ran for a very long time. So, yo, sports dates back to primary school. It was a way for me to make friends, and I didn't want to come home and just sit. So I'd literally be there, get at the sports and then instead of also staying at aftercare was boring. So I
Mm,
do my sports, and then I made some friends, and I started running there. So I started with just short distances. I was a blitz, eh? I loved the 80 meters as it was back then, and then that progressed to the 100 and 200. In hindsight, I should have been a 400-meter runner, but I wasn't. And then
mm,
school ended, and then I was like, okay, what now? Oh, I still play touch. Let me carry on playing touch rugby, and I played that, and I made it to national level. That was fun, but after about 12 years, I got bored. And then other guys at the gym were like, hey, we run. We've seen you at the gym. Do you want to run with us? And I started running. So, yeah, I ran. My first race was in 2010. It was at Gerald Fox Memorial at the zoo, Johannesburg Zoo.
mm.
I ran 10Ks there. I thought I was a hero. I was like, yay! Oh, you guys are awesome. You got me through my first 10K. And I think my second 10K was probably Soweto Marathon, which I did. And then they're like, oh, you're an ace. Now you must do 2 oceans or the 21K. I was like,
Mm.
okay, cool, let's do this. And then I did 2 oceans. And that was a lot of fun as well. I joined Sunning Hill Running Club and I did all the training with them. And yeah, they got me through my first 21K in Cape Town. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, this is running. This is amazing. It was so cool. Great. And then I just carried on running. But I always associated it with old people. And I was like,
I
all
think that
these
was
old
me.
men who want to go to comrades. It's like their Durban July. Oh, it's
Mm.
fine. Well, I'll just keep on running, but actually it's quite boring. So I ran, and then back then NRC was literally just a time trial around Rosebank, and I was like, okay, I'm not
Mm.
driving all the way from Bryanston to Rosebank for this. So I carried on running with the old men, and a little bit of stop start here and there. And then someone introduced me to NRC again in 2016, and I was working in Wynberg at the time. So it was the
Mm.
perfect stopover on the way home. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. These people are making running so cool. and it's so accessible. I'm like, wow, people even take photos when you're running. Oh my word. And then they completely revolutionized my running. So I literally had to think about what I was eating, thinking about speed training, thinking about conditioning. Before I just used to run. It was one of those, hey guys, our training run is a jog and we are talking and we're running at like 4 or 5 in the morning. And that's what training was. But they completely revolutionized my way of running. So I love that. But yes, 2017, 2018, I was like, I'm a bit bored. Well, I wasn't too bored. I was just, that chicken licking itch that was bugging you. And I'm like, but I really want to try something else. I've really been wanting to try bodybuilding. And then I found a coach, and then she's like, "Yeah, but you'd have to give up running." I was like, "Oh no!" So I carried on running, and then last year came again. I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'm ready. I won't run anymore. Let me enter my first bodybuilding competition and take it seriously." And that is how I got to bodybuilding. So it was quite a
We are
journey
gonna
to
carry
get there.
on. Oh, I was saying we're gonna carry on bodybuilding just now. Just going back to running.
Mhm.
Labs, which is Lebogang,
Yes,
says every runner has a favorite race. Which one has been your favorite race?
my favorite race. It's probably the one that kicked my butt because it's in my backyard. So it's not the Gerald Fox. What do they call it? Jackie Gibson race, which is in the south. It's hosted at Klippriviesburg Nature Reserve. And the first time I ran it, it kicked my butt. It was the first time I'd ever walked in a race. And it was the first race where I was actually in danger of not finishing and getting a DNF. And I was like,
Mm,
what? I'm getting a DNF and I live like right around the corner. No, no way. So I battled, and the encouragement on the road and like from other runners are like, just keep going. We all have our bad races. Just go, you'll be fine. And then I finished in my worst possible time ever, but I finished. And I didn't go back the next year. But then I trained again, and then went back and started enjoying the race. I was like, okay, Jackie Gibson, I got you. I know I have to train before I run you, but I'm here.
what was the distance?
21. No, I decided long ago I was never going to run beyond 21. I'm not a 42.
And you
I've done
never
it
have.
once. I've done it once. Peer
And
pressure got to me, and I upgraded my Soweto Marathon entry from a 21 to a 42 during substitution.
mm-hmm.
Peer pressure will do that to you. They're like, oh, but you're strong, you're fit, you'll get there. And I upgraded it, and I had about, I think, 5 or 6 weeks to train, and I couldn't go past 32 Ks in a training run. So I went to Soweto with that, and I bombed out, but I finished. I was like, never again. 42 Ks are not for me. I can't be on the road for this long. It is boring. It is not me. Never again.
And I thought you enjoyed distance, hey? Because the first time I saw you, I was like, yeah, she's built like, she's got this. She does these long distances. Comrades, she's done it.
Yeah.
Two oceans, she's there. She is the
Yeah.
girl. She's the distance girl.
Not a chance. It's just, it's not for my body. I'm sure people would probably say if I trained harder and did specific training, I'd get better at it. But my mind is just not there. It's so boring. It really does bore me. So no, not now. Maybe when I get over 40, it'll appeal to me
Mm,
again. But no, not now. Looks can be
and
deceiving.
they can, hey, they can.
Yeah,
And in
yeah.
contrast, what has been your best race?
Probably still like that first 2 oceans that I did. I'd gone there never having run a 21 either. I think my longest distance before that was a 15K race in Pretoria. So I went there not knowing what to expect. So the gun goes off. Well, hang on, before the gun goes off, you get to UCT at like 4 in the morning and it's packed. I'm
Mm,
like, what is everyone doing here? And then you look back and the 56K guys are singing and they're like so ready and pumped for this. I'm like, people are singing for a race. Okay, okay, wow. So fortunately we had good weather. And then yes, the gun goes off. I'm not sure if there was seating back then in terms of like different start times, but I think we all started at the same time for the 21 and started
Mm.
running and I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is so much fun. And I finished with no smartwatch, no running app, no none of that, and I loved it. And it became like my best 21K time for a very, very long time. I took a couple of years to beat that time, which frustrated me, but it was such a fun run for me.
I think you were running before like the running boom happened because I remember it happened around 2013, 2012 when a lot of people started running. I remember in my early years of running, you could just get a two oceans entry like this. There
Oh
was
yeah.
no raffle or lottery system. So how has your experience been running before the running boom and after? Because before, I'm pretty sure there was like one type of shoe per brand. There was no watch. There were no apps. It wasn't as popular as it is now. So how are your experiences between then and what it was after the boom?
There was a lot less pressure then. So I think the first year I ran in was a Reebok. And I was like, okay, these look like cool shoes. I'm gonna buy them and then run in them. I wasn't aware of the mileage of the shoes, whether they were fit for that distance. Just saw a pair of shoes that I liked and I ran. It was nice not to be chasing a time. So
Hmm.
I think that's one thing I miss. These days everyone's running with an app, whether it's Strava, whether it's the Nike app, whether it's what do the Adidas guys use? Map My Run. I think they use that. So, or
Yeah, I
Under
think
Armour,
so.
one of them uses that. So
Mm.
it seems as though they've just got all this pressure to beat their previous time. And I'm not sure if they're enjoying it. I think that's what started taking the enjoyment away from me because I just wanted to run like I used to run before. But I think what I do like now is, apart from them making it so cool, but they've given you gear that looks cool as well. Because back then, race t-shirts were just those thick cotton shirts that you'd probably use as like
Mhm.
PJs, and they really weren't cool. I didn't like them. I didn't look forward to them. And then the goodie bags would have like funny socks, and I think so. I like that the races are a lot more conscious and about what people like now, and all these
Yeah.
apparel makers, whether it's Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, they want to make us look good while running. So I like that. I appreciate that from running now. And I also like the diversity that we have. So it isn't just about the old men anymore. People are now, I think, a lot braver. So I don't know if it was a bit of more stage fright back then, but they're a lot braver to experience new things now. And they get out there, despite safety concerns, but they get out there and they make it happen and they have fun. So I like that it's diversified a lot more.
And you also have younger people running as well, which is quite different.
Younger people are running comrades. They used to tell you it's bad for
Yeah.
your joints and you're not going to age well if you run such long distances early on. But yo, they
Mhm.
are proving them wrong. Look at Gerda Stein. Like Gerda Stein is probably like 31 or 30 and she's killing it. She's doing so well. So yeah, people are like, don't tell us what we can't do. We're going to do it. We're going to run.
Labs asks, wait, let me just see this. What do you think running has done for your outlook, mentality in your life, whether it be professionally, socially, and mentally, or mentally?
What I think running has instilled discipline in me. I think team sports in general expect you to be disciplined. So practice is at a certain time and you're
Mm,
forced to be there. So the timetable is given to you and it's easy. But when you're running, it's just you and you have
mm,
to show up for yourself. Your 2 feet are going to get you across that finish line. No one's going to run the race for you. So you realize just how disciplined you have to be with your approach to running and just your willpower. It forces you
that's
to
true.
dig deep. So you apply it not only to running, but like in other areas of life. It's like if I can be that strong there, then let me try to be strong elsewhere.
And you also develop that thing that I've ran this kilometer before, I've ran two
Yeah.
kilometers before. I'm tired,
Yeah.
but I've done it so many times. What's 1 kilometer? It's just, and after you've been running for quite a while, you can sort of approximate how long or how far a kilometer is. So you're just like, I've got 1 kilometer left. I can see the street sign now. I can see the robot. I can get there.
Of
I've got
course.
this in me.
Of course.
Moving away from running, and now I remember your Instagram post where you announced to us that you are quitting road running, and I was shocked. Um, I don't think anybody in my circle has ever done that before. So I was like, why? Why is she not running anymore? I have never heard of people in our circle saying they're not running anymore. You left running and you moved over to bodybuilding. How was the experience of switching over from one sport to the other sport?
So a lot of these girls I'd been following on Instagram looked amazing. And I was like, I want a body like that. And I'm sure all I have to do is lift weights. And I thought it was as basic as that. I'm so glad I had a coach to guide
Mhm.
me along the way. And she was quite realistic about what I'd be able to achieve. And she's like, look, you'll probably need about 4 to 5 months to prepare for your first competition. So here's a calendar, pick a competition, and let's start training. But you're going to have to cut down on the cardio. I'm like, what? Why? She's like, because you're lean enough. How? I'm lean enough. Yes, you're lean enough, and we need those muscles to start popping. So I think the biggest shift, honestly, and she warned me about it, I just didn't take it seriously at the time. She says, diet is going to be your biggest challenge. Diet? And then she sends me my first diet program. And I was like, not too bad. I have one cheat day a week. So the first month wasn't too bad, actually. She was just cutting down on a lot of carbs and introducing a lot more water. I'm not, or wasn't a big water drinker. So she took me
Mm.
from drinking like 1 liter of water a week to about a day, to about 4 or 5 liters a day. And I was like, why would someone need
Five,
so much water? Yep. 5 liters of water.
five.
Yeah. Absolutely insane, but that's what they do. So you drink so much water. And I'd really look forward to the cheat days, which coincided with race days. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is not too bad. I mean, I've been doing this for 3 weeks now. And, it's tough, but I'm sure, I can make it through the 5 months. And then the second month came of training. She sent me a new diet plan, and she asked me to get a kitchen scale because we'll now be weighing food. Weighing food? Why? I mean, as a runner, I used to eat whatever I wanted. Like, no,
Mm.
you're going to be weighing your food now. And yeah, breakfast was something like 30 grams of cooked oats and I think 2 boiled egg whites. So 30 grams was 2.5 spoons of oats and then some egg whites after
Hunger,
that. That was breakfast. Yeah, that's
hunger.
breakfast. You're way too much. And then, like a couple of hours later, you're having about 100 grams of fish and just that plain white fish hake. That's it. And some broccoli.
Mm.
And that's like your mid morning snack. And then lunch, you're having the same thing you had as your snack before. So it's like, yo, this is insane. And then you have your snack before you go to gym because I prefer gymming in the evening. And that's usually protein shake, but just with plain water. So you're taking that protein whey powder and you're adding
Mm.
water to it. And that is your snack before gym. And then you must go and kick butt at this workout, which starts to become monotonous because it literally is for you as a bodybuilder trying to perfect the dimensions of your body. You literally have leg day, chest day, leg day again. Um, back day, and it's literally just cut like that, and that's all you do. So for 5 months, you know exactly what you're doing on the Monday, on the Tuesday, on the Wednesday. You're doing like the same thing over and over again, trying to perfect your body. So this, you get through your workouts, and you're like, yes, I made it through. And then you have, for supper, you're having perhaps chicken this time. It's a bit heavier. And some more broccoli. And then she might add an asparagus to make your life exciting and some sweet potato. And that is supper. And then right before bed, you're having protein shake again. And
With
that's your
water.
day. Yes, with water. And that is your dietary intake for the day, all day, every day, 7 days a week for the next 4 months. And yeah, I think about 2 months into it, I broke down. I broke down so badly. I got home from gym exhausted. And all I wanted was a slice of bread, plain bread. Plain bread, fella. Open the bread bin, there's no bread. I'm like, Mommy, where's the bread? Maar also, you told me you're not having bread, so I finished it. Hey, I dropped to the ground and I cried. I burst into tears and I cried. I was hungry. Like, oh, and bread. So yeah, she just left me there. She's like, I don't know what's going on with my girl, but I'm gonna go watch The Queen or whatever it was she was watching. And yeah, had to fetch more water, and yeah, that was my life. I'm like, okay, cool. 4 more months of this, I can do it. And yeah, you start getting used to that boring diet, but it's a real challenge.
It makes me think about, this body goal. I've seen them at the gym and I've always been like, maybe I should actually go to the weight section. But I see those cafeteries with boiled eggs and tuna, and I am not sure if I am ready for that life. I don't think I'm adult enough to do that. I am bad with food. I am very bad with food. I
Food
want
is
to ask about,
life.
I know, but I couldn't like drink 5 liters of water in a day. I struggle to get 2.
Yeah.
And a protein shake and 30 grams of oats. Ha! No, I don't think I'd have the willpower. I'd probably just like get a pizza and snack on that. That's probably what I'd do.
Well, another thing that
Um,
keeps you in check is you're sending progress photos every 2 weeks, as well as your weight. And I've never been friends with the scale,
uh,
so I suddenly had to be friends
mm,
with the scale, and I was like, oh, okay. And then you're sending this to your coach, so it keeps the pressure on.
mm, mm.
Hmm.
I want to ask about your first competition, but before we discuss that, when you told me about the costs of that competition of getting the bikini and the stripper heels, I was like, what? That's expensive. I thought you could just get anything. But when you compare the cost of that process of that getting that food, those outfits for the competition versus the costs of everything that you used to use for running, which is more expensive?
So running, I would eat whatever I wanted, which was great. And I think I only started spending more money with running when NRC happened and we were buying all the gear to look cool. I was like,
Yes.
I must get those tights. I must get those shoes. But I didn't, if I look back at it, it wasn't necessarily a requirement. Fortunately, I've
Mm,
got good medical aid, so that would cover my physio as well. I don't think that was a major cost for me either. So bodybuilding, I've never spent so much on food in my life, so that just scared me. Uh, at one point, I had about 5 or 6 trays of eggs in the house because I was going through them so quickly, and I was throwing out the yolk, which drove people crazy. They're like, "How do you not have the yolk? That's the tasty part." I was like, "It's not what I need, guys." So, yeah, spending ridiculous amounts on food with the costume. So the day that you step on stage, it's amazing. I got like a cheap line costume, as they say. It was literally an entry level one. And how much did that cost? So there are only like 2 or 3 places that have it, like in the province, which is another thing. So they sort of have a monopoly and they dictate the price of those costumes. But it seems like a universal thing where the costumes are just expensive. And the more stones
mm,
you have on it, the more it shines, the more it costs. But it's also, it allows you to do better in the competition. So that's one thing I think a lot of people aren't aware of with bodybuilding.
Mm,
As much as you get judged on your body, but a major component, about 50% of the scoring, is also just your walk on stage and how you carry yourself and how you pose, as well as your costume. So a lot of people aren't aware of that. Neither was I really. I thought just by training in the gym, I was doing enough until about a month before competition. Coach was like, "So how's your posing going?" I'm like, "What posing?" And I had to learn all about the world of posing, which is insane, but it can transform your body so much. So one little pose, just sticking it out a little bit more and like flexing your bum, makes you look as though
mm,
you have a bum. Whereas if you just stand straight, you look so normal. So that's also why a lot of these Instagram girls will never ever just give you a full like head on photo. They don't do it anymore. And they always pose at funny angles. It just makes your body look a lot better. And then you sit there, how can I get a body like that? Chances are you already do. You're just not posing correctly. So
mm.
I learned about the posing game. I'm still learning. It takes a lot of practice, but I learned about the posing game while training for this competition. So I think my heels were about 2,500 for those stripper heels. The
Expensive.
bikini was probably about 3,000 rand.
And
So
that's entry
yeah,
level.
yes. Oh, that's entry level. People are getting proper rhinestones on them, and they can go to about 10, 15,000 rand for for a
What?
good costume. Yep,
Sure.
yep.
Oh, wow.
And they don't want to repeat those costumes, eh? So
No, I don't think you'd want to repeat a costume from one competition to the next.
yeah.
But what are the benefits of like saying winning a competition or winning that category? Do you get sponsorships? Do you get ambassadorships?
I don't think the prize money is as great. So internationally it is, but I think in terms of our physiques, we aren't quite there yet. So not many girls make it to like the overseas rounds. They might win like Arnold here and then play so badly in the overseas competitions. But one girl to watch though, actually two who've been doing really, really well. Victoria Selatile. She competes in the wellness category, which is a category above mine. But she's doing so well and has got the potential to do well internationally. She's even got an SA colours in it. And then another girl, she won like Face of Fitness a couple of years back. Sarah? Shelby
Mm,
Neves. She's in my category, which is the bikini fitness category. And yeah, she's gone overseas and is starting to do very well. So when you make it to that level and you're competing overseas, there's good prize money just for winning or for coming in the top six, because top six has a lot of value. But locally, they'll get more in the terms of sponsorships. So they'll partner up with like NPL Lifestyle or USM, partner up with things like that, and then get promos that way. Or Boost Gymwear is also a popular one, and then they'll start promoting gymwear, but not that much in terms of money as yet.
okay. Navisa asks, are you doing the Arnold Classic?
Well, you have to qualify for Arnold Classic, so I haven't qualified yet. I haven't actually been training that much during lockdown either. Well, not that I haven't been training, I haven't been dieting. Let me put it that way.
You've been
So
eating all your food.
I've
All your
missed my
grain.
food. I've missed my food. So yes, it's nice to be enjoying normal people food again. I do miss the gym, and I don't know if we'll be getting back to training as yet. So what I need to guard against is gaining too much weight. Otherwise, it will be too much to cut off. But yes, Arnold is a goal of mine, and hopefully I can make it there one day.
Um, you can start running to lose that weight that you've been gaining, and then you can go lift again.
It's a
Your
plan.
first competition, how was that experience?
So because I haven't competed and no one knew me, I didn't know what to expect. I went there with very little pressure. I was just like, I hope I remember my poses because you get mandatory poses that you have to do on stage. So I was just like, I hope I remember that. But I remember getting to, it was at Sun Arena in Pretoria, and I got there probably at like 6 in the morning because we had registration. They didn't have registration. Oh, we had registration the day before, sorry. So we had an athletes meeting that morning, and they just wanted to prep us for it. And then it looked like a squatter camp. I think in one of my videos I was like, wow, guys, this is a squatter camp for athletes. It looked so bad backstage. I was like, this is disgusting. So people had their stretcher beds, and then they were all in their PJs, and they're literally littered across that hall all the way in the back. And you literally go there, all you're trying to do is find a spot to camp for the day. And I found a spot not within that main hall, but like close to a stairwell, because that's just how packed it was. And yeah, I set up camp there and I was like, oh, well, I guess this is where I chill for the whole day. So backstage has zero glam whatsoever. Beneath those PJs and stuff, people have their bikinis. But yeah, we just look dreadful. Other people are getting their hair done. Some people are still getting their spray tans done. Oh, that's another cost, by the way. Everyone needs tan. Doesn't matter whether you're black. Everyone needs that spray tan for the competition. So,
Really?
yep. Yep.
Because you need to sparkle, right? You need to shine.
You need to shine. They need to see those muscles. So it's compulsory for everyone to get spray tan. And that's what I did. And then yeah, people are getting spray tan done, getting their hair done, getting makeup done. But it looks like a mess backstage. And then we go in for the meeting, they tell us the rules, they tell us, well, they confirm all the categories that'll be going up, and that prejudging starts at a certain time, and the main show would start at like 4 in the afternoon. But everything ran late that day, and you can't really eat before you get onto stage, especially for prejudging. So you're like sipping on water here and there, but no eating. And then you're just waiting. And bikini fitness, which is my category, was like the 9th out of 10 categories. So yeah, we were like tired and starving by the time we got on stage for prejudging. I was like, wow, okay, cool, well, let me go. And then they call us up. And then when you're in the line, like preparing to walk onto stage, everyone's sizing each other up. And I was like,
Of course.
how? Okay, where's the love, guys? I don't even know you guys. But
Not
okay,
running,
cool.
it's not the street.
Nope, not at all. So they're sizing you up. And then yeah, they call you onto stage, you've got your number. So all you are at this point is your number. And then they call you on, and then you all stand in a line, and then they tell you to pose, and then I think quarter turn to the left, and then everyone takes a quarter turn to the left. Quarter turn to the left again, so now you're facing, your back is towards the judges. And then my hair is still all over my back. I forgot to clear it. And then like, ladies, please pose properly. You know what you're supposed to do here. Keep your hair off your back. And I was like, oops, that's me. So I had to remove my hair. And then again, quarter turn to the left. And then a quarter turn to the left. And then quarter turn again. And then they start shifting you around. So apparently when they're shifting you around, that's when they're trying to compare. And that's usually when they start to pick their top people. So the closer you are to the middle, is chances are that's how well you're placing. If you're right on the end, then you might not really stand a chance. So nonetheless, I think only one girl was kicked out from our lineup, and the rest of us made it through. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. All right, cool. See you guys in a couple of hours. And then you go backstage and you start to prepare again. Yes.
And now you're changing your bikini again.
Well, I didn't change it. I kept mine. But yeah, some people started stressing and making adjustments there, making adjustments to their hair. So a different wig this time. And they start literally posing. So you can see the guys. The guys are hectic about their posing. They want to make sure that those muscles are as big as possible. And the junior guys were the best to watch because they take it so seriously. You've got guys who are like 18, 19, and they're posing, and they're like, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, guys, wait. You would think you guys are winning $1 million, but okay, cool. Let's go do this. And then people start cramping on stage because you haven't been eating the whole day and you're depleted of water. And it was insane. So they'd tell the people to hold their poses, and then people start shaking, like the muscles literally just go.
Wow.
So it was like, yeah, this is bad. And I got to a point, even when I was on stage, where I thought I'd start cramping because they wanted us to hold the one pose for so long. I was like, ah. And then you start to feel your toes like clenching up. So you're posing with every bit of your body. So even your toes are feeling it. I was like, oh. And then the judge let us go. And I was like, phew. Okay, next pose. But yeah, you put your body under so much strain, especially that week before the competition. So you've got what they call competition diet. And that's where you're in the sauna every day of the week. You are taking Epsom salt baths every day of the week. Your water, if you thought 5 liters was a lot, that day you can go up, or that week, you can go up to about 8 liters of water a day, depending on what your coach wants, because they want you sending photos every single day. That's how many changes they can be. They don't want you peaking too soon. So it's such a gamble to make sure that you are ready for competition day, and experimenting with your body so much just to get the perfect mix. But yeah, you literally can go up to about 8 liters of water every day. And then the day before the competition, they start depleting you of water. So instead of having your 6 or 8 liters, they're like only 1 liter today and this much food, and that's all. So yeah, it makes sense when people are cramping on stage because you put your body through so much.
And what keeps you motivated through this?
Oh, it was tough. Yeah, it was tough. When you are spending weekends at the gym, only one, and you know that a nice time, guy, the runners have got a party over there, there's a wedding over there, and you're literally at the gym. It was tough. So you know that you have to get through your workouts because you're working out 7 days a week, but you keep the end goal in mind, and you're like, I'm almost there. I'm like 6 weeks away. I can do this, and it's for my first comp. And I'm going to be sending photos again on Friday. So if I've been cheating, it's going to show. So let me keep this up. So I think those weekly photos, especially as you get closer to competition, keep you motivated because you're like, I'm almost there. So the countdown helps as well. I'm almost there. I'm getting closer. It got to the point where I was taking my own food to weddings. So if a wedding started at like 2 in the afternoon, I try to get there around 4ish so that I'm not too hungry. But I'd have my own scuffteen and I'd keep it in the car. And then when everyone's eating, I would step away and go to the car. I'm like, ish, I need to eat because I have such a strict diet. So nothing on that wedding menu would fit me. It gets that bad. You carry your own food everywhere. Yeah.
This is a hard life. Going back to your competition, Nabs asked if you put Vaseline on your teeth.
I hadn't tried that. If it works, I can try it again. I've never tried that. But
So Labs was asking, what was the first real meal you had after your competition? Your cheat meal.
so I thought that the shops would still be open by the time we left. And I mean, the main show was supposed to start at 4. So I was like, look, if we're out of here by 8 p.m., at least I can like get to the closest mall and get Krispy Kreme. That's all I wanted was Krispy Kreme. We only got out of the venue at like 10:30 that night. It was a long day from like 6 in the morning until like 10:30 at night. I don't even think I waited for the very last lineup. I was exhausted. So I left and I was like, what can I have? And there was a McDonald's and I had McDonald's.
And what was the result of that evening for you?
For me, I think I came 8 out of 10. So I was happy with that. I was stoked. Apparently, I beat some of the girls who'd been there, like,
You've done it before.
who'd done quite well, yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. One thing, though, you must realize about bodybuilding, as fun as it is, because you get so marked so much on the posing and because it's such a small industry, unfortunately, there's likely to be a lot of bias. So I remember the night before at registration, there were athletes who were literally greeting and hugging the judges, and I was like, oh, it was so cool seeing you at coffee last week. And that's just how close they are. And you can't take it too personally if you realize that your posing was better than the other girl, your bikini was better, your body looks better. There are a lot of other factors that go into the judging. So, and also it also depends on who you're affiliated with. Apparently, there are certain bodies, and if you haven't been loyal to them, they're not going to rate you quite highly in your placing. So they'll reward like their most loyal athletes and who've been affiliated with them for years, and then they'll go on to represent South Africa or the province in the next round, which is possibly why I think we aren't doing as well on the international stage. I don't think the best athletes are getting through. And therefore,
Mm,
when they get onto the international stage, they literally, you know, they are cleaned, they are creamed by a lot of those athletes because those ones are sending their best athletes through. Whereas we're still a bit on a loyalty program. Oh, look, she's been posing bikini for 4 years and now she stepped it up to bikini fitness. Oh, let's give her a gold star for that and place her well in this competition. So don't take it too personally if you don't do well. If you know that your training has been on par and your body is peaking at the right time and you got the result that you want in terms of your body for that competition, that should be enough for you.